grade 2. How are you? I hope you're well. Right, today's lesson we're going to be looking at some flowers. We're going to try and use our knowledge to identify some flowers. Okay, first things first, let's have a look at our PowerPoint. So I'm going to minimize my head so that you can see it. Right, so it is Tuesday the 28th. You can follow my head bobbling along there. And we're learning, as I said, to identify some flowers. Remember Mrs. Lang was talking about her colour-coded for success criteria. Just take a little moment and have a look at it. If you need to help, have a look and you will be on the red. So if you're not feeling very confident about the flowers, which is okay, ask your adult for some help. If you're feeling a little bit more confident, have a look at the flowers that we'll look at the video later, and perhaps you can name some of the flowers with me. If you're feeling really confident when you go out, you might like to ask an adult still from some flowers that you don't know, or you can have a look at books or on the internet, and that will help you identify the flowers you may find. When you go out, it might be an idea if you have a camera, if you are able to go out. If you're not, don't worry, there are resources and there are things that you can do. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. So plants are living organisms. What do you mean by that? I hear you say. Okay, and why is Mrs. Wren on there again? Is Mrs. Lang obsessed by Mrs. Wren? Well, yeah, I am, I'm afraid, because she tells me what's alive and what's not. Okay, let's quickly remind ourselves of Mrs. Wren. So we've got movement, we've got respiration, we've got sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. What? Plants move, I hear you say? Yes, they can. Remember when we had a look at the introduction, Mrs. Lang was talking about pausing the video. Okay, where you can see here, if you can see the mouse here, I'm underlining a video link. Okay, if you pause the video, or if you copy that video link, you will be able to see this mimosa move. It's amazing. If you think plants can't move, think again. They don't actually get up and run away or anything like that. No, they don't do that. But they do move. Okay, so have a look at the video. See if I'm right. Okay, let's go through our list again. So they are sensitive. They can feel things. They can feel animals moving. They do grow. We all know that they grow. They respire. We know that because we get some oxygen from our plants. I'm sure you've heard your adults talk about that. Okay, reproduction. Right, there is a word that if you have a look here, it says pollination. Say it with me. Pollination. Right, this is the way that plants reproduce. Now, you may have heard people worrying about the lack of bees in this country. That's because bees are really important because they help plants pollinate. Okay, so they will go from one plant to another plant and they will have a little bit of pollen on them and they will transfer it to another plant and they will pollinate another plant. This is how plants reproduce. You'll be looking at that a little bit when you're older, but have that in mind because that's really important. And that's, if you think about our local habitats and we looked at our microhabitats and you think of dependency, plants are dependent on that reason for our insects. Okay? Right, let's click on and look forward. Okay, fun fact time. Okay, right, okay. So, what do we know about our plants? What do they eat? Well, we often think that they actually take their nutrients from soil. Think again. Okay, they do in fact, or some of them actually eat little animals. If you have a look at this word here, it says carnivorous. Now, I know in year 1, you had a look at some animals that were carnivorous. Think about it. Pause the video. What do you think, or what can you remember it means? Right, are you back again? Okay, year 2. It does mean eating meat. I know you're saying we knew that. Well done if you did. But remember, carnivorous means that eats meat. And there are some plants out there that actually do eat insects. One of them being the Venus flytrap. I think that's quite a famous one. Again, Mrs. Lang talked about pausing the video. There is another link, I can get my words out right, a link there. And if you follow that link, it will have a little video and it will show you about the Venus flytrap. Right, now, there are some flowers that are absolutely enormous. So enormous that they're bigger than some of you, year 2. Yes, you there, you 2. Right, if we have a look at our flowers, we can have a look. They're actually called, some of them are known as corpse flowers. We'll come back to that. But it's the Rafflesia flower. And again, if you follow the link, there's amazing YouTube videos, and they're looking at these particular plants in Indonesia, and they're just amazing. If you have a look at my mouse, if I can find my mouse, if you have a look at that plant, it has an opening of a couple of feet. It's almost a meter, which is really big. The plant underneath there is the Titan Arum. It's almost like part of the lily family, but that is taller than you. And sometimes they can get as tall as a lamppost. Don't believe me? Don't believe me? I can see you not believing me. Well, if you don't believe me, pause the videos, have a look, and then resume these videos. Okay, brilliant. Let's go to our next slide. Oh, let me make my head bigger. Right, so how are we going to identify our flowers? How are we going to think about the differences? Okay, what are we going to use? We're not, at the moment, unfortunately, we're not at school, so we can't use anything that the teachers could provide us. So we're going to have to rely on our 5 senses. Pause the video. What are our 5 senses? Okay, pause. Okay, right, let me little head me. Our 5 senses are sight. What do I mean by that? Most of the time when we're going to have a look and identify flowers, we're going to do it by using our eyes. Okay, that's right. So when we go out, we'll be looking at the difference. We'll be looking at the colour. We'll be looking how many petals they have, how big they are, how small they are, how many leaves they've got. So we'll be doing that all through sight. Hearing is probably not so. They do make some noises, but unfortunately, the noises we won't be able to hear. Taste. Now, this is a tricky one. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. That is our warning sign. That tells us that we have to be really, really careful. Do not go and eat any of these plants. There are some plants we can eat. You can eat lettuce. You can eat the vegetables in the garden because they're part of our plants. But don't go around picking up plants and eating them. Okay? Touch. Again, touch you have to be really careful about. Some people can be allergic to many plants. So when you're with your adult, ask your adult if you may touch them. Smell, most people could probably smell them. So sometimes they will smell nice, sometimes they won't smell nice. But that's what we're going to use when we're going to identify our flowers. Right, let's move forward. Okay, so Mrs. Lang will have sent you a plant and flower hunt sheet. So you can have a look at those. They're very common. You've got the daisy, the buttercup, you've got the clover. So these will be the flowers that when you go out, you can investigate. If you can't go out, don't worry. There are some websites you might be able to find, or think about just drawing a couple that you might be able to view from your window. Or you might be able to spy them in a very special place. Let's see. Right, I'm going to hand it over to somebody now who might be able to show you where you can investigate them. Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be looking at some very special plants and flowers. They're very special because they're in a place that I think we will recognise. Yes, Mrs. Lang is at the school. As you can see, it's very cool here. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to explore and see what special flowers and special plants that we have. Okay, who is that person? Does she know what she's talking about? Yes, I was at the school and I saw some plants. Have a look at this picture. You can see some of the plants there. Okay, if you have your identification sheet, I should have put those on the day before, so you should be able to access those. Have a look at some of those flowers. What else does that strange woman have to say? Let's see. Oh, we're going back. Okay, that's fine. I didn't have to say anything. So you could stop the video and go back to that. Okay, and actually have a look. Okay, so finally, it's your turn. Right, so I hope you can have some fun exploring, but remember to be with an adult. Think about it as part of your exercise, going into the woods. Remember, I will need to see these. So the sheets I will provide, we put myself on the big head there. Right, so the sheets you will have, they will either be in class charts or I will send them to you. If you have difficulty accessing class charts, if you email me back at year 2, we'll go back to that in a moment, and then you can email me. But I do expect you to either draw a picture or fill in those charts. Let me go back into the little head there. Right, okay, if you can't access outside, there are great websites here that you can have a look at. So again, pause the video, go back, go through the video, have a look at what else I have to say. Yeah, I understand that. But anyway, if not, have a look at these websites. Remember, I do expect you to do the work. I shall see you tomorrow. Keep safe, keep well, and until then, year 2, take care.